Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. It is 2 o'clock. We are coming at you live on YouTube, live on Facebook, as we do each and every week that we possibly can to talk about all things building a custom home on your land. I'm Eric Aller, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family, joined as I am each and every single time by the great, the marvelous, the wonderful, the absolute heart and soul of everything you see digitally Tilson Homes related, Dawn Dantzler. How you doing, Dawn?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Eric?
I'm doing fantastic. I do that, folks, so that I can make sure Dawn's listening, because she never knows what I'm going to say. So
that's just generally true.
Keep her engaged. Yes, yeah, we just keep her engaged by having me on the show. She's like, I have to be there. So anyway, folks, do jump into the chat. We want to hear where you're building, what part of the process you are in, where you are watching us from. That's always very interesting to us. And again, it is Tilson Live. It is Tilson Tuesday. It's 2 o'clock. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook, talking about all things building custom homes on your land. Everything you need to know if you are considering maybe starting this process. Maybe this time of year you little empty nester action potentially. Maybe the last one has flown the coop. It's full on graduation time. Maybe you're thinking about, all right, it's time to get out of this school district. It's time to get out of this neighborhood. It's time to get out of this high property tax situation. It was an awesome place to raise kids, and it's close to restaurants and work and all that. And now I'm ready to get out on 2 acres with chickens and cows and whatever. So if you're that part of the process, this is the best place to be. Maybe you have started the process. Maybe you've been dreaming about this. Maybe you have some land. Either maybe you got some from family, or maybe you bought some 2, 3, 7, 10 years ago. And you're still trying to navigate through what plan works best for you, what questions to ask. You got questions about customization. You got questions about financing. You got questions about site preparation. Ask those here. That's why we're here. Maybe start the process. We love hearing from you guys, because y'all are the best resource for all things building on your land, this community of people that we have here. So maybe you've already selected your plan, you've signed your contract, maybe you've signed your plan, picked your colors, and done your site evaluation, met our land preparation specialist out there on your property, and have that visual of where that back porch is going to face, and you're waiting on your permits or loan approval. Or maybe you're in construction. Maybe you're it's being framed, the plumbing's done. You got stuff happening out there. So we want to hear from you. Do drop into the chat where you're watching from, where you're building, and what part of the process you're in. We want to hear from you guys. So jump in, tell us what's going on. And while y'all are doing that, Dawn is going to tell us what in the world we're talking about today.
Well, last week we did my favorite thing, which was share a customer home. So this week we're doing Eric's favorite thing, which is ask us anything and try to stump Eric.
Let's go.
So we are here to answer all of your questions about everything that Eric just talked about. So I'm not going to try to repeat it because I couldn't. But any questions that you have about building on your land, as I always say, we will also answer questions about anything else. But the further you get away from that topic, the less reliable our answers are. But we're happy to tell you whatever.
It doesn't mean they're not entertaining answers. It just means, you may want to fact check them. You may want.
Yeah. And just the only other rule, we don't talk politics. That's just
that's
that's just good family rules. Religion and politics, we don't go there. But
I equally trust none of them. How about that?
That is fair.
Equal opportunity politician, non-truster. I don't care what letter is after your name. I think you're trying to get into my back pocket. That's what I think. And you're not going to spend it judiciously. There, I said it.
That's fair.
So anyway, folks, jump into the chat. Tell us where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process you are in. And then, yes, it is truly ask us anything at all. You got questions about financing, questions about specific plan changes, custom options, different things you can do to the cabinets, the countertops, plumbing fixtures, light fixtures, septic systems, water wells, culverts, permits, all the things. Whatever weird insulation system you saw yesterday that you got served up with an ad on Instagram or Pinterest, ask us about that. We love hearing those kind of ideas. We want to hear all of those things. We got some folks joining us. So
we do.
Joining us so far.
All right. Well, we've got Stacy saying hi in Dayton, Texas, currently waiting for the final plans from the architect. Looking forward to starting the build.
Nice.
Awesome.
Very cool. Yes.
We've got Denise. Good afternoon from Pearland, building the Canyon D in Chapel Hill. As of Sunday, we have a culvert construction drive and half the dirt for the house pad. Yay! Greg said they should start forming up for slab after Memorial Day.
That's awesome, Denise. I know it's been a long time coming, so I'm so glad to hear it. Thank you for sharing that news with us. That's exciting.
Yeah, we know how excited you are. Cindy Kelly watching from Allen, Texas, building a custom rock wall in Grayson County. Had
Nice.
countertops installed yesterday.
So there
Ooh.
we go. So yeah, Cindy's like textbook. Allen, Texas. I'm heading north. I'm out of here. I'm heading north on
Mhm.
75. She's going. She's even past Bucky's and the new HEB, brand new HEB in Melissa, Texas, just opened. Yep, there we go. See, so she's like, nope, not far enough. I'm still going into Grayson County. Blissful, wonderful, peaceful, serene. Good for you, Cindy. That's really cool.
Awesome. And we've got Amy. Hi there. Trying not to melt here in Bernie today. Hope y'all are staying cool.
It's hot. Yeah, I think I saw it's
It's
gonna be like
hot.
either 101 or 103 out there. It's hot. It's
Yeah.
super hot. It's and I don't know about out there. It's humid here. It's super humid. Like 93 and like walking through a wet blanket. Truly, like it's miserable.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's bad when the squirrels do that thing where they just like completely
Spool. What do they call them?
splooting.
Splooting. They're splooting
Yeah.
squirrels. It's a problem.
First time I saw that, I was like, "What is wrong with that squirrel?"
Yeah,
And they're like,
yeah,
"Nope, that's normal."
He's
Like,
trying to maximize airflow.
all right, we got Deborah building Magnolia in Blanco County. Our spray foam installation was done yesterday. We're so happy
Very
with how
cool.
smoothly everything is going here. Oh,
That's
that's
great,
awesome to
Deborah.
hear.
Super cool.
Thank you for sharing
I
that.
am curious though. Did you get to watch it happen? Because it's kind of a fascinating, one of those weird, like satisfying things to watch when you spray it.
Yes, it just
Evenly
goes.
so curious if you got to actually watch it get applied. I hope you weren't in there while they were applying it. Maybe watch it from the outside.
Or when they shaved it down.
Right.
All right. And Cindy says, yes, exactly. She is fleeing all the traffic, all the things.
Yes. Run.
We got Rick watching from Humble. I'm going to
nice.
build in San Jacinto County. Awesome.
Same thing. He's heading north on 59. I'm out of here.
And then we've got Rob. Howdy, Alicia and Rob watching from Germany. Oh, hey, good to see you again.
Nice. Awesome. All right. So, hey, good news is we haven't been cut off internationally. So we haven't violated any kind of international, internet rules as far as I know, maybe.
That we know of.
At least not European ones. So that's good. Keep us up to date, Rob. Make sure that we're still participating in a big way in Germany. Huge market out there for us. But no, thank you all for joining us. Again, folks, keep dropping into the chat where you're watching from, where you're building, what part of the process you are in. We do want to hear from you. And of course, any and all questions that you might have. We have a few queued up, of course. But we want to hear from you guys. What is weighing on your mind? Dawn, tell them the only dumb question. There are no dumb questions except for one. What dumb question is it?
The one you didn't ask.
Exactly.
So if you're curious about it, even if you think we've answered it 700 times, like there's someone else who has the same question. So ask us whatever's on your mind and burning.
Yeah, you having the courage to ask it is beneficial to everybody here in the community. So ask the question. Don't hesitate. We want to hear from you guys. So, but keep dropping it into the chat. We are live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and here to answer all of your questions about all things building a custom home on your land. Ideally in Texas, but if you got questions about anywhere else, I got Google, so we'll roll. And I got Grok. I got Chat GPT. I got all the things that my kids can't use. So
we're happy to tell you why Texas is better than wherever else you're thinking about.
100%.
Yeah.
Do that.
Oh, Rob says we have a huge following in Germany.
Great. You know what that means? That means Dawn's not doing her job, if that's the case. By definition, my marketing department is struggling if we have a huge following in Germany. But I appreciate that.
Hey, it worked. We got Rob.
Rob. Ready to roll. Let's go.
I was thinking that made us like, what was his name? David Hasselhoff. He's very big in Germany.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I make the comparison. I don't think I'm not sure that's a parallel that anyone would draw.
Knight Rider was cool.
Knight Rider was awesome.
Yeah.
I ain't running on no beach.
In slow motion.
I'll 100% drive a
seriously, guys, if you don't ask us questions, you get this for the rest of the hour.
Which is
We've got Adam watching from Floresville. Hope to be building within the next year, watching for updates and good ideas. Awesome.
Very cool. No pressure. Good ideas.
Amy says, yes, question. We are like moments. I'm manifesting that to get the green light for construction. What are the first steps we'll go through once we get that green light?
Brilliant. Okay, so first thing that's going to happen will be a pre-construction meeting. So that you will meet with your sales consultant and your builder at your job site. It's not a long meeting. It's just kind of a really an introduction to your building superintendent, your project manager, who is a Tilson employee. So they're a full-time Tilson employee. That's all they do is work on Tilson homes. They orchestrate they literally manage the project. So they make sure that they schedule the trades, they schedule when things will be delivered, they release purchase orders, they all that, hold the trades accountable, keep you guys informed. That will happen. That's the first kind of step you'll go through. And then when you're out there, that building superintendent will kind of lay out what the next steps are. So they may say, hey, based on your site evaluation, I can see that these utilities are here. It meets up with what we have on paper. Have you had any issue, trouble with the power company, with the electric, with power, with water, with septic and gas, if that's a thing, access, all that kind of good stuff goes down. And then he or she will lay out I'm thinking about you're building on the hill country, so we're probably not doing a dirt pad. Otherwise, you'd say the pad's going to go in at this point. But out there, they say, okay, well, we're planning on, setting forms maybe this week or next. And then I have we'll do the make ready shortly thereafter. That'll be about a 2 to 4 week process, depending on weather, get the plumbing in and get the cables in and get the polyethylene in, and then when you're going to actually pour, and then have the framers lined up. So they'll kind of give you a laid out schedule, at least roughly, for the first 30 to 45 days of kind of what's going to go down based on their trade partners' availability. So that's what you could expect. A porta-can will show up. That's going to happen. So you have a beautiful mobile bathroom.
Your guest bathroom,
as
a lot of our people under construction call it.
Yes, it's a guest bathroom. So that's kind of the name of the game, is pre-construction meeting, and then out there the builder will kind of lay out time-wise schedule events for at least the first 30, 45 days.
Awesome. And then Denise says that she has a question about getting electricity to our barn. Does it come off the house, or will a separate line need to be run from the main box? The barn will be to the right and 10 feet behind the house garage.
Okay, so if it's that close, it actually could technically pull from the house. We could put a sub panel. What I don't know is where your power is coming into your home relative to that, what you just described on where the garage is. But it is possible to do a sub panel. Sometimes it's up to the power company themselves. They may want to set a separate meter. You shouldn't need to do that. My barn and my home are on the same meter, and they're separated by almost 300 feet. But I have power from one pedestal. It goes one direction to the barn, and it goes the other direction to the house. So, but with it being that close, you probably could do some type of a sub panel coming off of the house. Most barns don't need a whole I don't know what all you're going to be doing in the barn. If you are going to have like some big welders or different things like that, that's a different story. But most, you need some lights, maybe some fans and some outlets. You're not a whole lot going on in the barn typically. So again, the few exceptions would be if you're running like a large, 220 volt compressor or a large 220 volt welder. And even then you need like one dedicated 220 amp, 220 volt, 50 amp or 60 amp breaker. So
all right.
Can be done either way.
Rob says that like I said, we got him, so we're winning. Absolutely. And that Eric beats the Hoff any day.
Take a picture of that, screenshot it, send it to my wife.
We've got Donna saying hi from Austin. When will the Brazoria model be ready for tours? Will you be doing a Tilson live to go through that one, or the new Cisco model? So both of those models have completed construction. And they've actually both been staged. So we've done staging in both of them. So they've got all the furniture in them. So they look really pretty inside. Outside, we are still working on landscaping. So while they are open and you are welcome to go tour, don't bring your favorite shoes right now, because you're gonna traipse through a little bit of earth while we're trying to get everything straightened out. So they're not quite like fully ready for our Tilson live videos and things like that, because we like the outsides to look just as good as the insides when we do those. But they are open. If you wanted to go to our spring office or our Weatherford office and take the tour, you can do that.
Do schedule an appointment. That is best right now for sure. Call the online sales team, call the new home specialist, and schedule an appointment, because they could have large equipment out there moving around. Like, we're going to plant some pretty big trees, and we have rock, pavers that we're putting down.
Yeah.
There will be times where they could be inaccessible. Dawn and I aren't privy to that, and I don't want to be. So it is always best to call and schedule an appointment. But yes, they are both ready to tour. The team there would love to walk you through them. And they are beautiful.
And we should be doing videos on those in the future. It'll probably be probably around a month or so before we can film those. So probably about 2 months before we'll feature them on here. And Marisol saying, hi there. Do y'all offer rainwater harvesting and solar power?
So we have customers that have done rainwater. We don't have it as an option that Tilson did, like just a line item in our price book to do it, because it's very very specific to the area that you're going to be doing it. But there are companies out there that'll have the whole. They'll do the gutters, they'll do the barrels, the rainwater harvesting, and the filtration, the whole 9 yards. They'll take care of that. Solar, we don't. I mean, we have priced it for people. I don't know we ever have anybody end up doing it. We can certainly run the conduit for it if you want to have someone do it later. There are plenty of companies out there that will take your money and actually even finance solar for you, which I think is crazy, but a lot of companies do that because it is expensive. It's not cost effective at all. There's almost no cost savings, in fact, whatsoever. So just be diligent with your dollars, I like to say. Make someone show you the real benefits to it. But it's something that we have certainly prepped houses for. I've seen it installed on our homes. You got to be real diligent in how it's being installed as well, because it could void the warranty on the roof as well. So that's something to think about, not from a weight standpoint, but from a leaking. Like anytime you punch holes in the roof, we got a problem with that. So, and Owens Corning is going to have a problem with that, or your metal roof manufacturer will have a problem with that. So that is something that I do see most solar companies kind of slip up on. But we have, in many cases, in fact, there's some areas that are required. We run conduit from the attic down to like for battery storage, which is another thing to consider. Is if you're truly going to go actual solar, like you will need a space for battery storage because there is no solar at night. So you'll need a place to store batteries. Usually about half the size of a bedroom is the space that you need.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not small because it has to be ventilated, and because batteries get hot and they light on fire. So something to consider. But all that to say, rainwater harvesting, I'm on board with. I think it's a great idea. Solar, my opinion is that it does more harm than good to the house long term.
Turn on investment isn't quite there.
You need literally like 30 years. So if you plan on being there for 30 years,
before then.
Yeah, they will break before that.
Yeah. All right. Rick's saying, I think I heard you all do heat pumps for AC. What is the default for water heater? Is tankless an option? And what is the price difference?
Okay, so correct. Yes, we do heat pumps on the HVAC systems. That is going to be standard. We can do gas furnaces if you'd prefer to have a gas furnace, if you have gas, either natural, or you can bring out a propane tank and have that installed. So water heater kind of follows the same line. The water heater, so the baseline water heater is going to be electric water heater. There are heat pump water heaters. That's not what we do standard, but you can get them. You can also do a gas water heater, and then tankless is an option. I would highly recommend, if you go tankless, that you do it with gas. The technology is just not where it needs to be on electric tankless water heaters. They do make them, but the gallons per minute that they can produce at the temperature that you're going to need to make it feel like you're taking a nice hot shower is just not, it's not going to be able to keep up, or you'll have such low pressure that you won't be satisfied. That's been my experience. They also use a tremendous amount of power. You typically have to upgrade the entire service. You have to go from a 200 amp to a 320 amp service, even on like a 1,300 square foot house, which is crazy. So, and yeah, so to go to a tankless water heater, $1,600 and $3,100, just depending on the house and the arrangement. But that's to go from a conventional electric 50-gallon water heater to a gas tankless. I think we're using it'll be Renai or Noritz or one of those is who we're going to use. So,
okay.
See, Dawn, I brought up the price book just in case. Thanks, Rick. You made me do it right.
All right. And Amy's saying, awesome. Thank you. I may or may not have moved my office from one room to the other in our mobile home so I can watch them build this house. Oh, that's awesome.
Funny.
That'll be fun.
Super cool.
And we've got Donna saying, another question. Will you have a Sonora build to share soon? Not that I know of. So the Sonora is one of the newer plans. So it's usually about a year and a half before we have any customers who have completed it. And so we kind of need that lightning in the bottle of the customer built it and they're willing to share it. So I have not heard of any of those yet, but if you want to see, it is an updated version of our Fredericksburg plan. So if you wanted to go take a peek at that, they can kind of that Katie location can walk you through what the differences are between that and the Sonora.
Great point.
And Denise is saying for her line to the barn, just the
Yeah,
lights and the 50 amp for the
yeah, that
RV.
we should be able to do a sub panel for that, or somebody can do some electrician can. It'd be a great thing to ask the building superintendent um, as we get going is what the best way to, and also talk to the power company, because what I don't know is what size service, what size transformer they put out there. Is it a 200 amp? Is it a 320 amp? Is it a 400 amp transformer? So the actual, either the box that's in the ground, that green box, or the transformer that's up on the pole, because I don't know if it's overhead or underground. So.
Okay. And then Amy is asking, am I allowed to set out refreshments for the crew? Work appropriate refreshments, of course. Thinking like cold lemonade or some cold ice water or some cold ice claws or something. This Texas heat and them building. I want to say thank you other than just saying thank you, Oh, that's so sweet.
You're absolutely welcome to do that. I mean, they do bring
Mhm.
all their stuff. They're going to have coolers. They're going to have water. They're going to have all that stuff. Ice. If not, they're going to run and get it. But yeah, I mean, if you want to look, you're a decent human, obviously. So if you want
Yeah.
to do human things to other decent humans, nobody's going to be upset about that. And yeah, work appropriate. We would very much appreciate.
Yeah. And work appropriate at all hours. Like
Yeah.
not, that would, oh, your day's done. Don't, because we don't like to blur those lines.
But yeah,
The
they
other
absolutely
thing
appreciate it.
The other thing I will warn you about, Amy, just so you know, they tend to, because of the Texas heat, they do keep different hours. So don't be surprised if the crew disappears during the hottest time of the day, or they may take a little siesta. They're not getting, just so you know, they're not getting paid by the hour. They're getting paid by the job. So if they adjust their work hours so that it is more humane conditions to build in, be prepared for that. If you're looking around when the sun is in the highest and you're like, what are all these people doing sitting around? They're
Are they
being
laying under
comfortable and
trees? Like, well,
they're not getting heat stroke. That's what they're doing. They'll start back up when it's a little bit of a better temperature. But I did want to mention that because we do get some calls about that. Deborah says we did not bother the spray foam workers, but the finished product was cool. We've seen videos, so knew what was happening.
Oh, very cool. That's the best way to watch it, actually. That's much smarter.
Yeah. And then Will is saying hi from Klondike. Busy farm stuff going on. Y'all have a safe and blessed week. You're in good hands with Tilson.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Will.
Will, I lost another chicken today. My golden retriever has another confirmed kill.
You didn't lose it. You knew where it is.
That's true. That's true. But I will say, I think the chicken committed suicide. As best I can tell, the chicken entered the gated barn area. So the chicken entered the octagon. She went into the Coliseum herself. This was on her.
Yeah, that's fair.
Best we can tell, she flew in and did not fly out. And Ginger, the fierce golden retriever, did her job, and she defended the house from the invading Air Force. So yeah, we are down to chicken.
It looked threatening. We got Jason saying howdy. I'm a little late to the dance. Drywall goes up tomorrow, and this is moving much faster than I expected. Awesome.
Very
That's
cool.
Great.
Yeah, it's a game changer when the drywall goes up, Jason. The house actually, it's going to be strange to say out loud, but it gets bigger. Because right now you can't really see partitions, or you just kind of have like boards in space. But once the drywall goes up, you're like, oh, this room is. I have to put furniture in this. Okay, let's figure that
out. Don't go buy any until you're done, though.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Then we got Rick saying his wife will be thrilled that the Brazoria is done. It's on their short list. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, go see it. It's gorgeous. Stacy saying, in the building process, what all can the homeowner do on their own as far as inside the house before closing?
This is a wonderful question, Stacy. Thank you for asking this. Okay, so obviously, Tilson is responsible for everything that you can see, touch, smell, feel, look at inside and outside that home that is part of the plans and your options addendum. So if it's on the plans, it's our responsibility, 100%. Our insurance covers it. Our workers are responsible if they put the outlets in the wrong place, or they put the wrong countertop in the wrong cabinet. That's 100% on us. We are not responsible, and our insurance is not, for anything of any value that you put or install or work on in that house during construction. None of that will be covered, in fact, until your homeowner's insurance is activated. So here's some kind of what you can't. I'll start what you can't do first. You can't tap into any of the work that our trades are doing. So you can't tee into one of our plumber's plumbing lines, right? You can't tap into any of our electrical outlets or electrical lines running through. Like you can't tap into those things. If you need something additional done, you need to contact your building superintendent and have it done. What you can do are things like low voltage wiring if you want to. I mean, we do it already, but if you want additional low voltage wiring and different drops, different rooms, have at it. You want to run conduit for future like HDMI drops somewhere, go for it. You want to run speaker wire for speakers, on your porch or in your master or in your family room or something like that, totally get after it. That's totally fine. And a lot of customers will do that kind of stuff. As far as like I guess maybe you could do, if you wanted to paint your own accent wall at some point, you could, although that should be done way, way, way at the end after all the touch-up has been completed. But yeah, those are, so if there's something specific, Stacey, that I'm missing, holler at, like, put another comment in. I'd like to address it directly, but I hope that makes sense. It's basically like, we can't have the customers tapping into HVAC, electrical, plumbing stuff. But any of the other kind of like future speaker wiring, alarm panel wiring, stuff like that, customers do that all the time. And a great time to do that is right before what Jason just talked about, right before the drywall goes up. So that's kind of that last, where there's kind of a pause that happens at the end of the mechanical phase where we're getting some inspections done before installing drywall. So they'll come out and inspect the frame, the HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing, and the insulation all at one time. So there's kind of a lull right there. That's a great time to get those kinds of things run if that's something you're interested in doing. But there's something specific, let me know. But that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Also, anything of any value, don't move anything of any value into the home until your homeowner's insurance is activated, which will be very, very close to the end of construction, right before you close.
Yep.
Like I say, if you do move it in there and it gets damaged or stolen or walks away or whatever, we're not responsible.
Okay. All right. And Rick is saying carport solar is my solution, but my question was on the CB and transfer switch. CB.
I can go back to this other comment. So transfer switch for the solar. Yeah. It is going to depend on what solar system that you're using. Not like, so I say solar system, I feel like Mercury, Venus.
I like ours.
I prefer. Other ones seem like a long way away. But
yeah, they just seem far.
Yeah, but yeah, there is a transfer switch that you can do. But they're typically kind of proprietary to whatever energy solution that you're using. And I forgive me, I don't know what the CB. I don't do acronyms very well. Anybody who knows me well, or everyone at Tilson knows that Eric doesn't do acronyms. So if it's something else I haven't answered with respect to the CB, spell it out for me. Like I'm a 5-year-old. That's what, if you talk to Dawn, that's how you explain things to me.
Okay. Marisol saying, thanks for the info. We're interested in net zero buildings. So that was something we were debating, but that makes sense. Oh.
Yeah. It's a cool idea, Marisol. So don't think that I'm dragging it through the mud too bad. I just know the issues I've seen come up with people who've done it, like the net zero articles and Reddit pages that you go to rarely talk about the unintended consequences of, penetrations through the roof, penetrations to the exterior of the home, aging equipment, the solar equipment, aging batteries. Like those are things that I really wish the industry would do a better job of
and
being transparent.
Contracts that are assigned to the house that make it difficult to sell.
Correct.
Later, if for some reason you need to. I personally am frustrated that industry leads with how much money you're going to be saving, and it's not. You're just not.
Yeah. Be better, solar industry.
Yeah, be honest. Be honest.
Yeah.
Amy says, doesn't hurt my feelings at all that they want to rest. Totally on board with that. Let's not give her heat start. Agreed. I like to point it out. Also, I will also point out if you don't care for their taste in music, you can tell them and they will turn it down or change it for you. Don't.
Or you know what? Develop a new taste.
Or expand your possibilities. Just. All right. Jason says you don't have to remind Kathy that she will need a lot of furniture because she's counting on it. Believe me, she knows and is already shopping. By the way, I won. I get my shop my way.
Oh boy.
We are glad that you guys compromised on the shop. We were worried about you last week.
I wasn't worried about Kathy at all.
I said I was worried about you. I meant Jason.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because Kathy let us know. But so yeah, I'll rephrase. Kathy, you can buy all the furniture you want. Just please pay cash. Please pay cash. All right. And Stacy says, thank you. You covered her question on what she could do before.
Oh, good.
CB is circuit breaker. And that's
There we go.
Ex-Navy.
Thank you. Yep. So I was thinking CB radio. So there you go. And thank you for your service.
Yes, absolutely. And Stacy is asking, do you all do heated flooring?
Oh, great question, Stacy. Up until recently, no. And I still am not comfortable saying, yeah, we do it on the regular. I did see pricing recently that a customer did request it to be done. There's a couple of different ways to accomplish it. It can be accomplished through like actually using PEX. That actually is how PEX got its start.
Oh, really?
Was in Europe. Yep, doing heated. So they don't do central air and heat like we do. They do mini splits, and then for heat they use radiators, or sometimes they will actually use PEX or hot water, and they'll heat the floors with that. So that's very common there. That's where PEX kind of got its start, and then it migrated over here, and we started putting it in slabs first because that's what they were doing, and it seemed fine. And then we started running it overhead. So all that to say, yes, I've seen it done both with hot water. So it's typically in small areas, right, like a bathroom. You're not typically doing a whole house or a whole family room. It's usually a smaller area, maybe an 8x8 bathroom area, right? Like step out of the shower and all that. And I've also seen it done with kind of electric mats, that a mat that goes underneath the tile. If you're doing tile, so it's a mesh that goes in before the tile is laid down. I've seen it done with that as well. It is a one-off pricing thing, so I don't have any pricing on it, but it is something that we have priced recently. So it can be done.
Okay.
Also, you can buy really nice slippers for the price of heated floors.
Amy says she's cool with the music. Let's party. We'll get the tacos. Go. Awesome. You will be their favorite people.
Every day is Cinco de Mayo. I love it.
All right. Donna is asking, will the Fredericksburg model be retired soon? No, you mentioned the Sonora was based on that one, so wanted to check. So eventually, it depends on your definition of soon.
That's fair. Yeah. In Tilson terms, yeah, soon. Like sometime the next 5 to 20 years. Soon.
So it is in what we refer to as legacy status. So that means that there is a model, there is a plan that's been designed that replaced it, but we do still build that home. We still have that model. We just limit the plan to the model elevation as standard, and that's what we maintain the pricing on. But that building will stand there for the foreseeable future. Eventually, we will renovate via bulldozer, but it's not scheduled. But stay tuned. And Stacy says, just the master bath, no heat for the contractors.
Right. Woman after my own heart. Absolutely.
Sorry, I hadn't read that whole thing before I put it up. My ears
so. Like, well, when you saved your money and you're an adult, you can have heated floors too. Until then, freeze to death. I don't care.
Wear socks.
Yeah. Doesn't matter to me. Rub your feet together. I don't care what you got to do. But don't whine to me. Love it. Thank you, Stacy.
Okay,
somebody's still raising kids, right?
In last week's segment, you showed a couple that went with an electric fireplace in their new build. Are those types of fireplaces functional? In other words, do they also put out heat?
They actually do. Yeah.
They do, yes.
I mean, obviously it's not near what a gas, flame or a wood fire would put out, but yes, they will actually put out. And actually, I think most of them have 3 different levels of heat. Like they have little dots on the side, and they have 1, 2, and 3 dots, and it will put out heat. It's not going to heat your house, but you could get over there and get cozy by the fire, and it is putting out heat, like a radiant heat.
All right, awesome. And the Marisol's asking, what is the typical price for adding a garage to a plan that doesn't have one included?
That's a great question. Do you have the Speedy price book, Dawn, handy?
I do. Yes.
It's quite the ordeal in the regular price book. To me, who doesn't do it all the time. You go talk to one of our sales consultants, and they'll do it like with their eyes closed and hands tied behind their back. One hand. They'll need a mouse.
All right. So let's see. I am looking at the Arlington, and it ranges the attached 2-car garage and its various orientations is around, like the lowest one's around 41,000, and goes all the way up to 52,000. thousand. So something to keep in mind when you're looking at our attached garage prices is it also changes the elevation, the way that looks, and sometimes adds significant square footage to the inside of the house. So that's
Okay,
why
yeah.
you'll kind of see that fluctuation in pricing. But if you have a specific home plan that you're looking at, one of our online specialists, or actually Eric and I, can tell you exactly what that price is. But you're looking at around that range to add on the garage, and that's going to be a pre-designed garage that matches the elevation, the rest of the look of the home. So we're just not putting a hip roof on the
Right.
end of your house if
Not
it
a
doesn't
lean-to.
fit the style. So
No,
yeah.
it's the same engineer foundation as the rest of the home. So the same cable spacing, same beams, same width and depth of beams, same slab, same exterior, like Don said, whether it's board and bat or brick or stone or stucco. The
Mhm.
windows, our garages are sheetrocked, taped, floated, textured, trimmed with baseboard, painted. Like it's finished.
Right.
It's got everything but floors and HVAC. So it is an all-in turnkey price, and you can do whatever size really that you want. So that's a great question.
Yeah.
Excellent question.
Excellent question.
Awesome.
All
Folks,
right.
keep dropping the questions into the chat. These are great questions we've had. These are awesome questions.
Mhm.
You got questions about financing, questions about site preparation. I don't think we've seen anything about site preparation so far. Yeah, no, not really.
No,
So
somebody ask a site prep question.
let's get the site
Eric
prep
wants
stuff
to
going
answer.
in here. We want to talk septics and water wells and power and all that kind of good stuff. We want to hear about that. What else is going on? We can talk about financing. We haven't had any questions really so far about financing. How does a down payment work? Can I use my land as equity? All the kind of good stuff. Maybe I'll ask Don.
Yeah.
Hey, Don, can I use my land as equity
Yes.
as like a down payment? How do I do this whole EasyBuy thing? What's that look like?
Yeah, absolutely, Eric. So what we're looking for with our EasyBuy program, which is unique, it's a unique way of financing to Tilson. So what we are looking for is for you to have 10% equity in the final value of your home. So that is the cost of the home and the value of the home and the value of the land put together. That's going to be determined by a third-party appraiser. But we're just looking for you to have 10% of whatever that dollar amount is. So if you already have that in your land, that counts as your down payment. And your land doesn't necessarily have to be paid off in order for you to use that program. Like I said, we're just looking for you to have that 10% before we can get started.
Yep. Thanks for
and then
answering. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And then I did have one thing that our online team asked me to talk about, because they're getting people who are questioning how much they can change their homes. So I wanted to show you all this. Like when we say that our plans are 100% customizable, we mean it. This is actually a customer's home that we built, and everything on this plan that is red is something that we changed for them. So you can see we allow a lot of changes, and it is beyond just, hey, can I move that one wall over there? Like if you want to add a room, whatever it is that you're looking to do, we can help you out with that. So I just wanted to kind of show this as a visual that when we say, hey, you can customize your plan and you can do whatever you like, we really mean it.
Oh yeah.
And that's actually pretty typical. We actually call it a unicorn if you build our plans according to the plans that you see online.
Yes, we wonder what you're going to change when you come in to sign your plan. Actually, we don't believe you.
Yes.
We do not believe you.
And then Donna says, one last question. Have you ever built a Breckenridge with a fireplace in the corner versus the middle? Imagine it may impact the back windows.
So I just shared the Breckenridge we could show.
Yeah.
So this is what she's asking about here, and so typically the fireplace would go here in the middle, which is the way our model home is built. She's asking, can we put it here? And the answer is absolutely, no problem whatsoever. What will happen? So these are large fixed kind of picture windows. I can't remember if they're 5x5 or 6x6, so forgive me, or 5x6. But anyway, basically what would happen is they would slide down. We'd probably go to, maybe 4070s or 4060, 4 foot by 6 foot or 4 foot by 7 foot windows. So make the windows just a little bit narrower, so you can still get 3 of them. Or we've had customers that will put the fireplace here in the corner and do one of those large sliding doors back here that we offer now. We have a 12 foot and a 16 foot. The 12 foot would still fit here because this family room is massive. So you get 20 by 20. So you have a 20 foot, 8 inches along this back wall. So putting a fireplace here, you need about 4.5, 5 feet. So you'd still have a solid 15 feet of space of windows that you could do. So we could do 3 4 foot windows, or you could do a sliding patio door or something like that. So Very, very easy to do. Wonderful question.
Awesome. Very cool.
Very, very cool. Okay. So we heard about the Brazoria. Tell me more about the Cisco. What's going on with the Cisco?
So
I
the
think it's actually
Cisco, do what?
I think it's actually closer to being done than the Brazoria.
Yeah, the Cisco got it. It's about a week ahead of where the Brazoria is. So same thing. It has been completely merchandised. So it's been completely decorated. All of the furniture and everything on the inside is completely done. And it is ready. We are still working on the landscaping up there. So we're putting in. I think there's less landscaping to be done up there. So we're really just kind of focusing on sidewalks and then getting everything
I think
established. But
we're
yeah,
welding up
it
the
is.
pipe fence is what's
Yeah.
happening, like physically today. That's what's going on.
Awesome. So yeah, it's and that is a beautiful home. We designed a whole new bathroom for that plan for the model itself. So it is definitely something to go see that master suite because it's got a nice cathedral ceiling in the bathroom that leads into a closet that actually has an island in it that then connects to the utility room. So it's got some. Both of these models have some really cool features. So,
Super cool. Yeah.
yeah,
Very, very nice.
Go check them out.
Okay, so let's talk a couple of other things that go down. Let's talk. I do want to talk a little bit about site prep. So let's talk maybe all-weather access. What does that mean? What does it mean to have a road to the site, and why does it have to be done before construction? Why does that have to be installed so early? Is there something we have to go get out of the soil earlier on that we would need a road for? Like, why? Why do we need all that done?
All right. So we need all weather access because sometimes there's water that falls from the sky. And we want to make sure, we kind of joke around, but it's seriously true. We can get equipment on your property all the time, no problems. But what we want to make sure that we can absolutely do is get it off your property. That's why we need the all weather access. Do what?
Without
a wrecker. On its own.
Yeah, so under its own power.
Same way it got out there. So we want the all-weather access out there just to make sure that is something that can be done because we cannot control Mother Nature, but we also equally want to build your house as quickly as possible. So you don't want to be in a situation where we're waiting a month for your land to dry up so we can move on. The reason that we want it as early as possible in the process is because the first thing that we do is take those soil samples for your engineered foundation. So one thing that Tilson is it's very important to us. That foundation is the key to how your house is going to be for eternity. So we want to make sure that we have got that foundation done exactly right for the soil that it sits on. So we are going to take those soil bores from 2 spots within where the actual foundation is. So we're not just going to pick a random spot on your property, take those soil bores. We need to make sure that really huge truck can get out there and do that and be able to get out. So that's why we're asking you to do it so early in the process because we have to design the foundation and let the engineers do their things before you can approve your plans and get your house built. So
very cool. Very cool.
Yep. And then Rick is asking, does EasyBuy assessment come before mortgage pre-approval?
Great question, Rick. Okay, so in a way, yes. So I'm sure you know what you paid for the land or what you intend to pay for your land. And so you would thereby know if you have a balance or if you're going to owe anything on that land. And so, just for ease of numbers, let's say the land cost $100,000. And let's say that the house you're looking at, it cost $500,000. So an all-in number. So the total value of that home, forget what we're borrowing at this point. Just think house, $500,000, land, $100,000. You combine those two together, you could theoretically, when the house is complete, put a for sale sign up and sell it for $600,000, 100 plus 500. Okay. So what Tilson would want you to have paid into that land to qualify for our EasyBuy, no down payment, no payments during construction, none of that, would be 10% of that number, which would be $60,000. So 10% of the 600 or 60,000, which means that you could technically still have a $40,000 balance on that land that can be rolled into your permanent mortgage. You probably know if you have good credit, okay credit, poor credit. I I can assure you, most people who have poor credit know they have poor credit. That's not news to them. So what I find is people are shocked when they have good credit because they don't borrow stuff.
Pay attention to it.
They
Yeah.
don't do inquiries. They don't get late notices. Anyway, so all that to say, if you know about where you stand credit wise, and you know where you stand equity wise, or we can help walk you through that calculation at any of our design centers, or in your case, online virtually, then that's pretty much the assessment that we would do for EasyBuy. It's going to be validated through an appraisal. So which will come after the mortgage pre-approval. So you got pre-approval. What they're looking for is, do you have the income? Do you actually make the income that you say you make? And is the credit score what you think it is? So they're going to pull your credit, from the three bureau. They're going to do a tri-merge credit report, which is just Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, all three bureaus, who judge us, but not the government, because the government's in debt up to their eyeballs, and that's okay. But us, they judge us. So anyway, we weren't going to talk politics, were we?
No,
I'm not talking politics.
nope.
I'm talking debt. Totally
That's economics.
we can talk economics. So they're going to pull that tri-merge credit report. They'll typically take your middle score. So all three of your scores are not going to be identical. The reason for that, one's not judging you harder than another. The reason is not all creditors report to all three bureaus. Some do, and some report to one, or some report to two.
It costs them money to report. So.
Exactly. And so they don't report to all of them all the time. So your scores will vary. And for that reason, let's say that one of your scores is a 720, one's a 742, and one's a 766. They're going to take your 742. That's your credit score, your middle score. That's what a pre-approval is ascertaining. They're finding out, okay, is the person credit worthy? What are their total debt obligations as a ratio over their income? So you got debt over income. That's your debt to income ratio. So they're trying to see, hey, are they, do they have more cash going out than they have coming in? That's the first question. And then if not, okay, what is the percentage of cash going out versus what's coming in? So they're looking at a debt to income ratio. They're looking at your credit score, and they're looking at your income. That's on a pre-approval. That's really what they're after. They will go through an entire underwriting process where they'll say, okay, we need your last 2 years last 30 days pay stubs, last 2 years W-2s, last 30 days, all of your retirement account balances, to document all of the things that you tell them on your application. Like, okay, you said you had this much with Fidelity or in your 401k or in your, teacher retirement account or whatever. We just need to see that. We're going to need to document that. You want a fully documented or full doc underwritten loan. That's going to get you the best rate possible. Everything you can, the more you can document, the better your interest rate is going to be. But the EasyBuy assessment is pretty quick and dirty. Honestly, it's a pretty simple math equation. It's we're finding out your loan to value or your equity position. Equity is simply the inverse of loan to value. So it's if you have 10% equity, it's a 90% loan to value, loan over the total value of the home, of the actual package, home and land combined. So hopefully that answers. So you got EasyBuy assessment we've done first. We actually do that in the sales office. Pre-approval will be done with Wagon Hill Home Loans or your lender, and then actual fully underwritten, and then we will validate that EasyBuy assessment that we did when the appraisal comes in. So they'll send an actual appraiser out with your plans, as if that house were built today, what it would sell for based on comps or comparable sales that have happened in the last 6 months in the area. And they understand they're working in rural areas, so they may have to go 15, 18 miles out to get another comparable home, and that's not uncommon. So then we'll know for sure where you stand from an equity position. The good news is we know all of this before we ever drive a nail, before we ever start construction. So there's no surprises, any of that kind of stuff. Whereas if you're doing a construction loan, sometimes with some builders, you won't find this out until the house is finished. And then they say, oh, by the way, it didn't appraise, so you need to pay an extra $30,000 down because you owe it.
That doesn't feel good.
It's not fun.
No.
We don't do that.
All right. Marisol is saying, I noticed y'all offer a mix of stucco and stone. Is there a full stucco option?
Yes, of course.
And Jason is saying, I'm more than willing to be your construction access ambassador. If anyone is curious, I'll tell anyone that will listen. Please let Tilson build this for you.
He got the follow-up question. My follow-up question was going to be, Dawn, will Tilson do this for me?
Yes, Tilson will do that for you. And we honestly prefer it for many of the reasons that Jason's going to tell you. But the main one just being that we do this more than once. So we have more leverage with the contractors than you might have. And as far as getting them scheduled, what's going to happen if something goes wrong, if they don't do the job properly, they're going to show up, all of that kind of stuff, because we have the promise of future business for them, whereas you probably are only going to do this once in your life. So you wouldn't get the same treatment that we would. So that's why we would love to do it for you. Donna says she lied. She thought of one more question. It's okay. Our land is in the city limits. What extra fees, permits, etc. does that usually add to the cost? This is for Bell County.
Wonderful question. So I need to know, are you in Killeen? Are you in Temple? Are you in Belton? Which city or municipality are you actually in? And actually, telling me that today won't help me very much, because I'm not going to. Don, I see Don already go. Are you searching? Are you going to the?
I can try to figure out where to find out.
You go into the Tilson gospel of pricing. So the answer is it depends on which actual city and what fees and permits they do require. But it's not necessarily only the fees and permits. Sometimes they will actually require a different code. Mm-hmm. So, for example, they may require that the the IRC, like right now, the state of Texas requires the 2015 IRC, I think is what it is.
Yeah, 2015.
And there's some cities that require the 2018 IRC. And there's some that require the 2021 IRC. And there are a handful that have adopted the 2024 IRC, International Residential Code.
Yeah.
Shout out to, where'd my guy go? Rick, I used an acronym and I should not have. That's on me. There's my accountability. Harker Heights. All right, I missed that one. I missed Harker Heights. So I don't know what all the city of Harker Heights requires. I don't know which international residential code that they use, but that could have an impact on it as well. It's not a massive impact, but it does have an impact. They do require some additional things. And so that's something that certainly our Waco office, our Georgetown office, like they could get you dialed in real close to what any additional fees, permits, some of the cities require. Okay, you're going to get the city rant. I'm so sorry, but Donna, this is a great question. I'm glad you did this. But Don blames you. So
I do not blame you. It's a good thing to talk about.
It is, yeah. So they have.
Some people are still looking for land, and they should know these things.
A lot of cases, what's called impact fees, which is a very fancy word of saying tax. It's a tax. For example, they'll have water impact fee, which is different from your tap fee. They'll have a road impact fee, which is different from your driveway permit. They'll have a sewer impact fee. They'll have the most ridiculous one I've seen, which is in the city of Flower Mound, Texas. Take it, Flower Mound. Park impact fee. Now, what they're calculating is you joining the community by hooking a house up to it, you are having an impact on the resources. And presumably it's a negative impact, which is what they don't want to say that out loud, but that's what they're presuming. And so it's going to require more maintenance because you're tapping, and they're asking you to pay that, not asking, they're requiring you to pay that, your share of the maintenance up front in the form of an impact fee, a tax. And so anyway, those are things that municipalities are notorious for, and it's low down and dirty, but they do it anyway. And you ought to vote them out of city council if they do it. Me personally, that's what I would do, but or leave. But you are also paying for the conveniences, right? You're not having to put your own water well in. You're not having to put your own septic system in. You're not having to put your own roads in. So it's a trade-off. I'm not completely beating up on cities, although I have no problem doing that. But you are paying for conveniences, and there is maintenance to those things. Like it does cost money to run the sewage treatment plant. It does cost money to build the water tower and keep pressure on the city and have someone respond at 2:00 in the morning when it's not working. Like those are all real things. So yeah. But we can walk you. I'm not trying to scare anybody. Okay, this is just a deeper dive of these are all just real things that happen. And the good news is we have experience doing this stuff, and so we can help you walk down the path of, hey, this is required, this isn't, this is suggested, this is recommended. Like there's big difference between recommended and required. Cities will have both. Do not confuse recommended with required. So that's another thing to consider. Again, we're here as an advocate to walk you through that. Ultimately, it is your home on your land. We're going to do whatever you want to do. Plus whatever the
Okay,
city.
so
plus what they
Harker
require.
Heights is one that requires going to the 2021 International Residential Code. So it is the tier that falls into what we have to do extra to the house to meet that requirements. It's going to be $15,000 extra.
Okay.
For being in those city limits. So that's about middle of the road for us.
It is, yeah. See. Way better than like City of San Antonio, but not as easy as like, or certainly better than like City of Frisco or Allen or Flower Mound or fill in the blank almost anywhere in North Texas.
Pretty much. Denise is asking, will the interest rate be adjusted according to credit score? If we have a higher score, will we be offered a lower rate?
Okay, great question. So the rate, yes and no. So I guess not really. When rates that you see advertised or that you see quoted, typically speaking, are assuming excellent credit. I've never seen mortgage companies advertise or issue rates that are, and actually you'll see even in car ads, they'll say, as we're talking super micro machine fast, with approved credit. Right, they're quoting you X rate, or in the fine print that you can barely see unless you pause it.
So it assumes blah 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 credit score.
WAC, with approved credit. So Denise, the short answer is, you actually will get quoted a higher higher rate if you have a lower credit score. Typically, the rate that they're quoting you is assuming a 720 or better. Credit score, 720 to 750 or better credit score. And then they'll go up from there. They typically go down any lower for having a 780 or 810 or 820 or something like that. So
yeah. Because at that point, honestly, it's all nonsense that gets you higher.
Correct.
All right. And Rick, who was asking about equity, is 28 acres that he bought 8 years ago. You're probably good.
You and I have no problem with equity. You'll be fine. Yeah.
I feel comfortable saying that unless you were building one heck of a house, we're gonna be good.
Or a compound of houses.
Yeah. All right. And then Amy has nominated you for no tax president.
I'll abolish it tomorrow. 100%. I'll burn it down.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is the last question I see.
Very nice. All right. Well, the timing is impeccable. So, folks, we'll do a last call because I ranted. So you deserve opportunity to speak, or rebut. I know Dawn. She's her debate days are probably coming out in her. She can probably take a city stance. I challenge her to do so. Make it make sense.
No, I'm not going toe to toe with you on that. We don't have time.
Yeah, okay, so we got so anyway, ask one more round of questions while we're wrapping up, and Dawn's going to tell us kind of what's happening around the state this weekend before we get to see you guys again. And oh my gosh, yes, have we built a lot of houses in Ellis County? We even have a lot of houses. Design center in Ellis County in Waxahachie, so just south of town, actually on I-35. We have an office, so. We have model homes there, but yeah, we've built a ton of houses there. We actually had a subdivision we were in there called Hidden Meadow in Midlothian, Texas. So we've built in Midlothian and Mansfield and in unincorporated Ellis County and in Palmer and in all the places around, and Ennis and out of Ennis and all up and down 287 and I-35 and every little space in between. So yeah, we got a lot of experience in Ellis County.
Awesome. And then Jason is asking, can two houses be connected to the same septic system?
They can, Jason. They absolutely can. Yep. And we've done those. In fact, most of our design centers are done that way, where we have multiple homes. The model in Republic Grand Ranch is a great example. We actually have 3 buildings going to one septic system. And Brian, as long as I worked there, we had all 3 buildings going to one septic system. It's now on sewer. So it's a matter of, it can be done either way. It's a matter of fall, typically, right? Like, water goes downhill unless you pay money. There's your physics lesson for today. So even if the house that the future home you're building happens to be downhill from the septic, you can still install a grinder pump and send the waste up to the septic system. So not uncommon at all. In fact, there's a lot of subdivisions that require that be done. So no problem. Now, that said, you may have to add a tank or spray head because the one you're installing now for the existing home that you're building is designed for that house, that many gallons per day, that much usage. If you're adding another home to that, they may require that you add on, hey, you got to add another, 250 or 500 gallon tank onto it and another spray head, because you're genuinely adding more wastewater. You got more humans you're supporting.
Okay. All right. Michelle is asking, if one person has a great credit score and the other person doesn't, will that affect the interest rate?
Not necessarily, but it could. So if the person who has the higher credit score has the bulk of the income, then usually it's not going to affect it in any way. But if it's the opposite, if the person that has all the income that's required, because we were talking about that debt to income ratio, if the person that has all that income has the lower credit score, that will have an effect on it. But it doesn't necessarily mean, and we're not talking, 2 or 3 percentage points, right? We may be talking about going from 7 to a 7.25 rate, which is, a number's a number. I get it. It changes the payment, but that's the only times I've seen where it does affect the interest rate, is if it's the person that is bringing all the income to the deal. Because again, they're the one, the lender is protecting their investment. Their investment is the money they're lending. And so they want to ensure the likelihood of them receiving that back, which is mainly relying on the person that has the bulk of that income.
Okay.
They don't want the house.
Yeah, the bank does not want to own the house. Rick is asking, if I have 2 potential sites, can Tilson come out and tell me if one is better than the other?
Yes, sir. And if it's in Germany, I'll fly out there and tell you.
Yarb is asking, is Dallas County or Ellis County easier to build in from experience?
I'm gonna go Ellis County hands down.
Yep. And then Michelle is asking, is there a video of the Travis model? No, there is not. That's not one that we have. We have a video on yet, but I would say you can look at the Canyon, and it's really kind of a smaller version. It's basically the Canyon without the study. So
very cool. Awesome.
Right, awesome.
All right. So thanks for now, Dawn. What's happening this weekend?
Honestly, it's really quiet this weekend, Eric, because it's, believe it or not, it's Memorial Day weekend.
No, that's next weekend.
That's next weekend?
No, is it this weekend?
No, that's this weekend. Yeah.
Look, graduation has got me all fouled up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, yeah, we there's not much May left. So it's actually it's very quiet. But we will be open on Memorial Day if you guys want to come and check everything out. But we're not running any seminars because we figure most people are busy doing other stuff.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, fine then.
That's what's going on. It's very quiet.
Excellent. All right. Well, folks, thank you all for watching. I want to go back to Yarb's question, Dallas County, Ellis County. I will submit to you that in both of those places, you can find municipalities or cities that are equally miserable to build in.
Or in some cases, communities too.
Yeah, some subdivisions as well.
Yeah.
So something to pay attention to. The good news is we can help you locate like deed restrictions, and some of the, a lot of the permitting stuff is online. There is on the cities are put on their website, although they will sometimes add things that aren't on the website just for fun, because that's just the spice of life. So that is information that can be ascertained before you make the purchase. But say broadly speaking, I would say Ellis is easier than Dallas, but I can find pockets of Ellis County that are every bit as difficult to build in as the city of Dallas, or any other city there that way. So, but with that said, I just want to be clear on that, Yarb. So thanks for asking. All right, thank you all for asking all your questions and for joining us today. We're really grateful that y'all come do this. Obviously, the journey doesn't end here. We have an Instagram page. We have a Facebook page, as y'all know. We have a YouTube channel, as y'all know. We have a website open 24/7 with new home specialists on standby to answer those high-level questions, get you scheduled. We have 12 design centers open 7 days a week. Looking forward to seeing all of you folks out there. Come by, have a cup of coffee, get a bottle of water, chat, ask these questions. They're better at answering them actually than we are, especially specific to the areas in which they're building. They're very experienced there, have a lot of knowledge. Got models that you can just sit there and relax and kind of try on, if you will. See how big is an 11 by 13 spare bedroom? How big is a 28 by 20 foot 8 family room? Like, what's that feel like? So come on out and check those things out. We hope you find these helpful. Go find other content that we have and binge on it. Ask all these questions. We're easy to get a hold of. We hope these are helpful, and we genuinely soon hope to make you part of the Tilson family. We'll see y'all later.
Bye, everybody.